Okay, here's the 89 Ford F250 460 fuel injected multi-port Ford pickup I have for sale. Just want to do a quick video for a few people that asked about it. As you can see, the hail dings are on that hood. It's hard to see, guys. It just is. It doesn't affect anything other than appearance, but I just wanted to do a quick video on this thing so you can see what you're buying if you're coming out of state or wherever, or distance, or even in Nebraska in the distance. There was stickers on here, and you can kind of see the outline of it, square, and a UP, the federal number underneath it. And when I took them stickers off, some of the paint did release. Right down here, there's a little bit of rust in that cab corner. It's not too bad. And we'll just do a complete walk around of this thing. The tires are, you know, they're usable for now. At some point, it's going to need some new tires. Tailgate opens. Has brand new license plate lights, both of them. They both work. These chains that are on here are to attach to like a fertilizer cart or something like that. So the only thing it has for a hitch is this here, which you could possibly take out and put, you know, get a spacer or something and still use it as a ball hitch, possibly. The tailgate is just, you know, it's been used. The lights all work, turn signal works, flashers work, they all work. You know, it has its war wounds, scratches, and so forth, but it is 34 years old, and I think it's wearing most of its original paint, if not all. It does have the original exhaust from what it looks like. The rust above the right quarter is right here. There's some bubbling popping through there, which will probably get worse over time. This thing was stored inside of like a potato cellar type building down in the hole underneath. That's where he stored a lot of his equipment. Over the years, I believe that they bought this brand new in '89, and they are going out of business. The father had passed away of the business, and the son's keeping it until 2024 January. Then he sold the property off already, but he's kind of like subleasing it until he gets everything sold off that he owns and done with business. So it does have the cat on it for you Denver people or whatever that needs. Pinion seal doesn't appear to be leaking. You can see it right there. Does not appear to be leaking. I hope I said that right. The spare does hold air, does have some cracks in it. There again, that paint loss here. There's a little crease in the door right there. I don't know if you can see it or not. And we'll get to the hood here in a minute, and the roof. The tires seem to be all pretty well matching. They're not cracked or weather checked from what I can tell. The windshield is in decent shape. Does have that brush guard in the front. There's a little spot in the hood right here where it's kind of pushed up, and I don't know what the story with that is. I don't know if you can see those hail dings. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I hope you can. The grill that's behind the brush guard looks to be in good shape. It has brand new wiper blades on it, oil change, spark plugs. The air filter is good. It has original cap and rotor, and the wires are original also. It says 1989 on the wires, so they are original to the vehicle. These door handle armrest things, they're just typical on these Fords, I think. They get, the foam's kind of deteriorated underneath from the years. You can see where somebody had their arm here quite a bit when driving it. But the dash is in good shape. The headliner's in good shape. I do have a new dome light lens. It did have one in it, and these little opera lights I believe do work, maybe they don't, but the headliner is an okay. Visors are good. Same thing on the other door, not as bad probably on that armrest vinyl foam thing, but it's showing its age. The seat's all good except for right there where the thread must have just gave up the ship on that seat right there. You can see it, but the rest of it's good. Where everybody tries to hide, when you take a picture of these vehicles, they try to hide this left hand side where your butt goes across, and I don't do that. I show good and bad the ugly. It's just the way it is. There's that little bit of rust there. Got safety flares in the back. Place for a fire extinguisher, but it's not there. Does have cruise control, but I could not get it to work. I don't know if it's disconnected or fused. I do not know. I didn't investigate that. It does have the dual tanks with the switch right there. Wiper blades, lights, AM FM radio, cassette, which who has cassettes today? Not too many people probably, but the radio does work, but the illumination for the readout is dim. But you can get around that. The mat looks to be in good shape. It was a black, then the factory must have did it that tan color. So anywhere where it's kind of worn a little bit, you'll see black coming through a little bit. But there's not huge, great big cracks in it or anything. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up real quick. The glove box and the owner's manual and everything is in there. But let's go ahead and see if you can see that mileage. And the odometer does work, and it is just a 3-speed transmission. No air conditioning, just your heater, and it does work. Rear mirror does have a little bit of typical stuff where you have a little bit of deterioration in the whatever that is that you put that on with. It's not all warmed up, and I didn't just start it and warm it up and trying to screw somebody over here. I just want to be honest as I can about it. I haven't had it a long time, like I told most people. Hold on one second. Not a Ford guy too much. Maybe you can see those hail dings a little bit more. We'll get to that roof in a minute. But all the emissions are on this thing if you are from out of state and you do have emission tests on these old vehicles still. Everything's there. Like I said, it does not have air conditioning because that's where the compressor would have been. And you can see, if you can see it, cap and rotor says Motorcraft, so that's all original stuff. The jack, the handle, and that is underneath the hood still secured. Let's look underneath here and I'll show you. So you can see here, this has been sitting here for about 2 days now, and there ain't no big old oil thing, but you can see like it has been seeping somewhere. It's not a big drip, drive shaft and everything, but you can see some seepage that it has been, or is, whatever you want to call it. Let's look up on that roof real quick, and that's about the same as the hood. It's got hail dings. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it or not. It's very hard to do it sometimes, and the hail dings. The rear got work light. Does work. There's the oil pressure after it's sat a little bit at idle. Temperature's not warmed up. Amp gauge is working. Not a whole lot of fuel on the front tank, which I think is what they use most of the time. But let's go ahead and we'll just move it back and forth a little bit here. This thing's got plenty of power. That 460, which I didn't have too many dealings with the 460. I'm pretty much a Chevy guy. But you can see that it's still running. It's pretty much in a nutshell it. Oh yeah, about that thing. Now you can see that the steering has play. And how this one works in this one is that you push this back and it releases the steering. So that tooth thing, from what I gather and what I read, most of it is in that tooth thing because that gets worn and the tooth thing keeps it in place. Now, if the tooth thing that attaches to whatever is worn also, I don't know. It's never been a part, so I couldn't tell you. But sometimes it will just kind of, and that's all in that tooth thing because it's not this way. It's up and down where the tilt wheel would go back and forth. Well, let's go ahead and fire it up again. You know, this thing is sat since 16, so you know this thing it just gonna need to be run because it has sat. It didn't really have any real bad gas in it. I mean, it was probably starting to turn a little bit, but it wasn't crazy. I've had a lot worse over the years. I mean, bad gas is bad gas, and this one wasn't too bad. But I would probably strongly suggest, you know, maybe replace the cap and rotor and wires. You can get them on Rock Auto pretty dang cheap. Just to be safe, you're done with it, and probably run some good heavy-duty fuel injection cleaner in it, just to clean things up because it has sat. But I didn't notice anything rust. I did have the fuel filter loose. I thought maybe it would be bad, and I blew through it and it was fine. I didn't see anything really crazy abnormal coming out of that fuel filter that I would be worried about at this point. But in a nutshell, that's about it. We'll go around it one more time. Hopefully this is good enough for you guys to answer some questions. This is long and boring, but if you're coming a ways, it sure is better than driving up here and to find out, you know, I didn't notice that, I didn't notice that. Hopefully in the video you'll be able to notice anything that's not acceptable to you. It is sold as is, where is, for cash only. Clean title, and the title will be in my name. It isn't yet because I just purchased this thing about 2 weeks ago, I think it was, a week and a half ago. And I haven't had a chance to get to the courthouse yet to pay the taxes and get the title put in my name yet. So, but that can be done the first of next week. Tomorrow I'm busy, Friday, so I can't do it today. I'm buried with stuff to do. Surprised I even have time to get this done this morning. But anyhow, in a nutshell, that's about it. Got any questions, give me a holler or send me an email. Alright, thank you guys.